Good morning and welcome to day 5 of our spring PBL. Today we are going to read a story called Sarah's Passover, and it's all about how a little girl named Sarah prepares for the Jewish holiday Passover that takes place in the spring. In fact, Passover is happening right now. It started April 8th and lasts until April 16th. There's 7 days of it, and it started last night at sundown. So we are in fact in the middle of Passover right now. So Sarah does a lot to help her family prepare for Passover. And while we are reading this book, I want you to think of ways that you help your family prepare for the spring and get ready in the spring. All right, so let's read it. Sarah's Passover by Lisa Boulard. Chapter 1. It's time for Passover. Hi, I'm Sarah. A big holiday is coming up. It's called Passover. I have some important jobs to do during this holiday. Today, I'm helping Mom get the house ready. While I help Mom, reminds me why we celebrate Passover. Long ago, the Jewish people were called the Israelites. They were slaves in Egypt. For many years, every Passover, we remember that our people used to be slaves. We celebrate our freedom. And over here, these little purple boxes, remember when we were reading about Easter, these purple boxes give us a little more information about the holiday Passover. It says the Passover story tells how the Israelite slaves were set free. God sent a man named Moses to see the Egyptian king. Moses asked the king to free the Israelites, but the king said no. So God sent many troubles to Egypt. Finally, the king let the Israelites leave. Chapter 2, Helping to Get Ready. We get the whole house clean. Then I clean out the regular bread and cookies. Those are some of the foods we can't eat during Passover. I help get them all out of the house. I brush a feather across the shelves. That way I don't miss even one crumb. I'm good at finding the special Passover foods at the store. I put lots of matzah in the cart. Matzah is like a big cracker. Crunch. We eat it instead of regular bread. So our purple box down here says regular bread needs time to rise before it can be baked. But the Israelites had to leave Egypt in a hurry. They didn't even have time for their bread to rise. They had to make hard, flat bread instead. It's called matzah. Now Jewish people eat matzah every year at Passover. It's one of their traditions. Chapter 3, the Seder. It's almost time for the Seder. The Seder is the special dinner that starts Passover. Mom and I get the Seder plate ready. I add the egg to the plate, and then the doorbell rings. So down here you see the Seder plate, and they put special foods on there. An egg, a bone, a vegetable, usually parsley, haroset, which is a mixture of chopped apples and nuts, a bitter herb, and a bitter vegetable. So haroset reminds us of the material the Israelite slaves used to make bricks, and the bitter foods help people remember how hard it is to be a slave. All of the foods help tell the Passover story. Lots of relatives come for the Seder, but we don't eat right away. First, we follow along in the Haggadah. This book tells the story of how the Israelites became free. We say blessings and give thanks to God. I bounce in my chair. I can't wait for my special part. Passover is a spring holiday and it lasts for a week. Grandfather breaks the middle matzah, then he puts a piece in a napkin. He hides it. Later on, we'll search for it. And I bet I'll be the one to find it. So this is called the afikomen. Sometimes being the youngest is hard, but for the Seder, being the youngest makes me special. I get to ask the 4 questions. I start, why is this night different from all other nights? Grandfather answers my questions with stories about our people. And over here in the purple box, it says, each year at the Seder, the youngest child asks the 4 questions. Sometimes the questions are sung. They ask why certain things are done at the Seder. The adults at the table answer the questions by telling the story of Passover. And this way they pass on their traditions from one generation to the next. Finally, we eat, and then all the kids get to look for the hidden matzah. Grandfather is tricky, but I find the matzah before any of the big kids can. I guess I'm tricky too. Grandfather gives me candy as a prize. Then we all eat the matzah. And down here in the purple box, it says the afikomen is the last thing eaten at the Seder. Chapter 4, Remember and Celebrate. Passover will be over in a few days. Then we'll eat regular bread again. But today I eat matzah. It reminds me that our people were once slaves. It reminds me to be thankful for freedom. So that's how Jewish people celebrate Passover, as they eat matzah. People have celebrated Passover for more than 3,000 years. The holiday is also called Pesach. It is celebrated in countries all around the world. Ooh, and here's an idea for making a Passover pillowcase. And a glossary with some more spring words, right? Spring words related to Passover. Bitter is a taste or flavor that is sharp and maybe even bad. Ooh, look at that. And haroset is a mixture that often includes chopped apples, nuts, spices, and sometimes honey. An herb is a plant used to flavor food. And celebrate. To perform publicly and according to certain rules. All right, sounds good. I hope you really enjoyed this story about Sarah and her Passover. And I want you to remember all the things she did to help her family get ready. So what do you do? Read and draw about what you do to help your family get ready for spring. And have a nice day. I can't wait to see your projects.